What's up, man? How are you?
Good, man. I'm good. I'm just right here waking up from a little nap, so I got that energy right now.
That's dope. That's good. It's always nice to take some naps. I think that's the a secret juice to life.
Oh man, afternoon naps are like the best thing in life. I'll be honest. I put that at the top of the list of favorite things to do.
But it's also helpful when you wake up early to like get your day going, get some exercise in, get the breakfast in, like have a good morning. So then that afternoon nap just like recharges you to use the afternoon and the night to like be more productive. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it, was
My
that?
my work shift starts at 5:30, so I'm up at like 4:30, and so my day is stretched. And when I get to take a nap, because I don't always get to take a nap, but those days when I do, they're really special. And man, waking up early, to be honest, because I'm kind of like a 7:30, 8 o'clock guy, between 7 and 8.
Hmm.
But then this last like 2 3 years, I've been getting up at 4:30, and you're just a lot more productive things.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, bro. I've always been also similar to you, more of like a naturally waking up like at 7, 8 in the morning. But there's been times in my life where I do have to wake up earlier for work. And those days I do just feel like I get more done just because I wake up and I already know what I'm going to be doing. And so the days that I don't have to work, especially now, I'm paying more attention to still trying to wake up early, even if I don't have to work. And I do that through the stock market because I think, okay, the pre-market starts at 6 a.m. The actual market starts at 6:30 a.m. So I want to wake up like at 5:30 the latest, so that from 5:30 to 6, I'm doing research, I'm reading stories to see what I need, what I want to look for. And then from 6 to 6:30, I'm just seeing the market, how it moves up and down in the pre-market. And then 6:30, I already know if I'm going to do any day trades or any swing trades or things like that.
Wow, on the investor grind, huh?
Was that?
On the investor grind. On the investor grind.
Yes, sir. Cool. Well, let's get started, man. Lakers, bro. Did you get a chance to watch the last game or the highlights?
Man, I watch either highlights or a game. I got to watch part of the game,
Oh,
in and out of skiing and reading. But every time I watch these Lakers, I get more and more excited with how good they are and just how deep they are. It's just like, from the first quarter, I'm really excited to see how Cal Kuzma's doing. And
yeah.
obviously THT is like a star coming. We talked about it a little bit last time, but I think it's kind of cementing now. And I also want to also be cautious with expectations. He is young, so I don't want to put too much on his shoulders, which I know we won't.
Yeah.
LeBron ultimately, and he's such a seasoned um, uh, player at this point in his career that he knows how to manage those expectations. So I think THC will benefit from that. But a lot of the talk has been like, oh, whose minutes is he gonna get? But I'm loving how him and Kuzma are like flowing together. I think the chemistry between them two, it just seems natural. It still feels like they're figuring a few things out, but it feels like they're both able to score. They're both able to get their flow in the game together. So that's exciting, man. That's something that like nobody sees coming on the Lakers. So
Yeah, I'm
I'm
with
excited.
you. I'm with you on that, on both of them. First with Kuz, so he got the start, right? So KCP didn't play, and the main guys played, right? So LeBron, AD, Schroeder, and Marc Gasol. So they all started, and Kuz was the starter. So I thought that was cool. They gave him the opportunity to go out there and just show what he can do with the starting lineup, the projected starting lineup, right? And I feel like obviously KCP is gonna be that one. And so who's gonna be the sub for KCP, right? And we've talked about Wesley Matthews being the sub just because of his 3 pointers, but Cal Kuzma. he has to be in that conversation too, just because he's been with the Lakers for 3 years now, and we know that he can make buckets when he is in when he's feeling it. And we saw that this last game, right, yesterday against the Suns. He seemed like he was confident, no hesitation. Whenever he had the open shot, he took the shot, and he was making most of them. So I did like. It looked like the shots that he was picking were good shots. They weren't bad shots, and I think sometimes he can get into that habit of taking bad shots. But overall, I thought he did pretty good with that. And then yeah, THT, man, he what I liked about him is his ability to create his own shot. He can get past defenders pretty smoothly. We got to see that yesterday. And then when he's near the rim, he can get so creative with the layups that he's doing and the dunks because he's so long, right? So his reach is, out there. So I think that helps him to be more creative to get those layups over bigger guys. But yeah, man, those two dudes, I'm excited for the young guys still.
And around the rim, just his strength too, like how
Yeah.
much contact he can take. Uh, he's gonna be special. He's gonna be a problem. Nobody's that deep in the bench.
Hmm.
Nobody's that good that deep in the bench. So we're gonna be able to compete, against. Even when LeBron and AD may need to take some rest, we're gonna be able to compete in every single game, no matter what, even if
Oh
our
yeah.
top guys are on limited minutes. So
Oh yeah.
it's exciting, it's exciting, and we haven't even seen, I think, what everybody else can do. I haven't even, like, what Schroeder's capable of. I don't think we've seen that yet.
Right.
What even Trez, I don't think has showed up big time yet, but they will. And um Marcus saw, that long pass, rebound to a leaking Anthony Davis. I'm looking forward to those types of plays because
Yeah.
Anthony Davis, he's probably like the best leaking big man in the league.
Oh
Like, if you
yeah.
take a long shot, he'll contest and then he'll leak.
Hmm.
He'll leak, and he's the best at that. We've seen LeBron give him so many of those passes last year. Now Marcus Saul could do that also. Oh
Yeah.
man, so and it's either going to be Marcus Saul or LeBron getting that rebound
Yep.
with AD leaking. There's going to be a lot of those. So.
Yep, I agree. And Marcus also made a 3-pointer, right? So we can't forget about that. He's gonna stretch out the offense. So man, that starting lineup is gonna be deadly, right? Because all of them are gonna be able to shoot threes. Marcus Saul, AD, KCP, and Schroeder. Schroeder, I don't think he's the best at threes, but he can make them.
Yeah.
But I think that alone, just having Marcus out in the perimeter is going to open up the post even more, and then obviously just provide that extra shooter whenever they need some 3-pointers.
Yeah, so when I saw that, right, I completely forgot that he was that good of a 3-point shooter, that he could knock
Yeah.
him down. So I was like, wait a minute, what's going on? And he knocked it down. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, we just added
Um,
another weapon on that because last year with McGee and Howard, they made a couple of lucky ones, but but they were just luck. With Marc Gasol, we
yeah.
know he can make them, so that's gonna be cool to have that.
Hey, what do you think about the big, one of the big conversations right now is how they're lacking a backup center, or the depth at the center position? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I do think they are, but I think that that's where Montrez is gonna play a big role. I feel like his ability to play the center and the power forward position is huge because we saw that yesterday. He had a nice block. I don't know if you remember that, but he had a really
Oh
nice
yeah.
block. So he has that shot blocking ability. And so I feel like that puts him at the center as a backup center. So then when him and AD are on the floor together, that's gonna be just deadly as well because they're both super quick. They're really good at rebounding, both offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. But I think either Montrez is going to be playing the center role, or they'll move AD up and they'll put either a Kuz at the 4, or they'll go small. I think, but I don't think that that's going to be an issue. It's going to be different than last year for sure because we had for sure centers last year. This year, Marcus Gasol is really the only one, but I think, even we've seen that the NBA is going into more of a small ball type of game. We need quick centers, and some that can stretch the field out. And so I think Montrez fits perfect for that.
Yeah, I agree. For the most part, I agree. I'm not too worried. I think we're so much better at every other position, and we're so deep that I don't think that will be an issue. Plus, between you could always throw Anthony Davis in there also,
Yeah.
at the center position. So I think with those three, with Trez, with Marc Gasol, and with Anthony Davis, will be good. And then our small ball lineup, we just like take your choice.
Hmm.
You could do so many small ball lineups.
Yeah.
With Caruso, with Kuz, with Trez, with Schroeder, with LeBron. You got options, so many options to go small, and it's like it's gonna be
And
a problem.
yeah, and so another guy that yesterday showed a lot of potential was Quinn Cook. So he had really good pick and roll setups, and he popped to the side and threw up the shots, and he
Couple
looked smooth.
threes.
Two threes, he had one mid-range shot, but he looked smooth getting those pick and rolls and just going for the shots. So I like that. I like seeing his confidence taking those shots because he's gonna have those if he gets playing time, right? Obviously, he's like the third or fourth player at this point, right behind Schroeder and LeBron as like the main playmakers. Then you got Caruso as another playmaker, and then probably Quinn Cook. But I like that he stepped up, yesterday and showed that he can you make those shots.
Yeah, Quinn Cook. I mean, it's gonna be tough to find the minutes just based on how deep we are. And again, he's another guy that looks really good yesterday. So it's kind
Yeah.
of it's gonna be tough on the coaching staff to give these guys all burn and make sure they all get a little bit. So I think that's gonna be the biggest sacrifice for this team. The biggest challenge for this team is like they're gonna all have to sacrifice. And LeBron is willing to sacrifice minutes. So is AD because they want to rest and they really want to be as fresh as possible for the postseason.
Right.
So that to me is going to be the ultimate tell of the season. Can they keep everybody fresh, number one, and make sure everybody's happy with their roles.
Yeah. Yeah. So I read this article earlier today too, and it had a interesting take. So the idea is that the Lakers have a deep lineup, right? We're talking about all these different players that are just great players. So there's a trade idea. The trade would be Buddy Hield from Sacramento, and
Mhm.
he according to this article, he's probably the second best 3-point shooter in the league right now. First, we obviously have Curry, and
Mhm.
then second would be Klay Thompson, but he's out. And then third would be Buddy Hield, but so he'll move up to the second spot. So he's got a big contract with Sacramento, but Sacramento ain't going nowhere. They're still in like that rebuilding mode. So then Buddy Hield, he would be good in a team that's actually trying to win a championship. So the Lakers come into play. So now what would the Lakers trade for Buddy Hield? Well, we have a lot that we can offer. So the three that they talked about were Kyle Kuzma, Caruso, and KCP. So giving those three for Buddy Hield, and then Buddy Hield will come in and he's just a sniper. He's a 39, almost 40% 3-point shooter, and he shoots like 9 to 10 3 points a night. So most of his points come from 3 pointers. So you know that if he's on the floor, he's gonna be that sniper for LeBron and AD. So I can see that happening. I just don't know if the Lakers need to make that move.
Yeah, if it was you, would you make that move?
I would. I would.
Really?
Because I would because we're we're trying to win championships right now, right?
Mhm.
And I think the lineup that we have right now is great. I still think the Lakers are probably on numbers, paper wise, like the older numbers seem like they're the best team in the league. But we know that KCP, he's gonna start, and he's a great player, but he's not a superstar. And in reality, we want a player that's going to be shooting threes. That's more of a catch and shoot player, because we know LeBron, AD, and now Schroeder, they're going to be controlling the ball. So we don't need a playmaker. And I feel like KCP, uh, if he is a good playmaker, and I think he is a good playmaker, we don't need him for that. So I feel like Buddy Hield will come in and just be a sniper, be a shooter. And then Kyle Kuzma, we've had him for a few years, and he's had to take a step back last year and the previous year because LeBron, right? He kind of took that role. Before LeBron got to the Lakers, Kuzma was the starting small forward. He was getting a lot of points, but then when LeBron came in, Kuzma had to step back. And then Caruso, he's a dope ass player, man. I love having him in the team, but again, he's in the bench, right? So we're getting rid of 3 players to bring in a starter, sniper. So I think that would greatly improve the chances of the Lakers winning another championship. So and then for Sacramento, they would also benefit because they're getting rid of a big contract, and they're getting you know 2 younger players. And I mean, KCP is not even that old. He's like 26 or 27, but they're all pretty young. And the only one that has a big contract is KCP, which is not that big compared to Buddy Hield.
Buddy Hills.
Yeah. So
So
I think it's a win-win for both teams.
the one thing I would, me personally, I like our depth. So listening to that type of trade, just kind of initially, just without like digging too much into it,
Mm-hmm.
I would say I would definitely say no, because one is, we've got 3 guys who already have championship experience, know what it takes, in a way already kind of know their roles, with the exception of Cal Kuzma, who I think still is expecting to try to take a leap. But KCP is gonna fit into his role. Alex Caruso is gonna fit into his role, and not just that, but we mentioned, I think last time we spoke, the chemistry between Caruso and LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
It's like defensively, he adds a layer, that I don't know if Buddy Hield has that.
Right.
So for those reasons, I think I would hold off if I were the Lakers, which I think just kind of, based on the direction so far, I think they're good on moves. I don't think they need to make any more moves for this year, at least.
Yeah.
Maybe for next year, but as far as this season, I think I think it's time to, let's, this is our team, and let's focus on one thing.
For sure. That's a great point, because I think making a move like that is almost traumatic. It's just like you're taking away 3 Laker players that have been with the Lakers for 3 years, right? So getting
Mhm.
rid of those players and bringing in one new player, I think that the chemistry of the team will change a lot. So I do agree in that. That's probably not necessary.
Yeah,
That
and not just that. It's like these are, with the exception well, for the most part, Caruso and Kuzma, they're fan favorites. Well,
Yeah.
Kuzma is very polarizing. You love him, and then you hate him, and then you love
Yeah.
him, and then you hate him. With Caruso, you absolutely love him. So
Yeah.
it's like, and those are 2 guys that are homegrown. They've been with us since their inception in the NBA. So we we want to keep that, because it's like that's our closest connection to the team also.
True.
So nah, man. I'm gonna have to veto that trade.
For sure. No, I just
And
read I
Buddy
read
Hield's
it.
good. Buddy Hield's good too. Buddy Hield's good too. Don't get me wrong. And he's nice. Next year though.
Yeah. No, I read the story and I was just like, damn, like that would be interesting, and
Yeah.
but I think I so the reason I said yes was just
Mhm.
because I do think it would increase their chances, but at the same time, I don't think they need to make more changes. I think the point that you made is correct. They've already made
Mhm.
enough moves this offseason to almost guarantee another championship. Like they just made the team better than last year. So how would they lose? You know what I mean? Like it's they're gonna be at the finals again, and it's gonna be a slugfest with whatever team makes it there. If it's Miami or if it's the Nets or if it's Milwaukee, whoever, it's gonna be a slaughter fest for sure.
Hey, how do you think this Laker team kind of stacks up against like the Kevin Durant Warriors?
Well, I mean, the thing with the Kevin Durant Warriors was just you had the three-headed monster. That's so tough to beat, a three-headed monster. Like and they had depth too, but I think the difference is the Lakers are deeper. They have better bench players, right? Better backup players, and they have a two beast monster. But I think that would be a great matchup if they could play. That would be a great matchup. But
That would have been crazy, because I really feel like I haven't seen a team this like just well rounded,
yeah.
just like kind of covers every single angle
Hmm.
in a while. It just feels like that going into the season. So
Yeah.
I think about that. So but we'll see. How they fare through the season,
Hmm.
but and it's a little premature to think that because there's still business to take care of. But
Yeah.
man, it's hard not to think about that.
I agree. Yeah. And I also think about just LeBron James' experience as a manager as well, because you know that Pelinka has to ask him, hey, we're thinking about making this trade for Dennis Schroeder for Green. What do you think? And so
Yeah.
LeBron has to approve it. They're not gonna make that move without asking LeBron. So I think a lot of the pieces that they move around either were initiated by LeBron or had to be approved by LeBron, if not initiated by him. So I think that the way that the team is built right now, it has LeBron's hands written all over it. And he has been making moves in that regard every year, for like the last 10 years, right? Because I'm sure when he was a rookie, they didn't ask him. When he was in his second year, they didn't ask him, but little by little, they started asking him, right? What do you think?
What do you need?
Because what do you need? Because you're the star. We need to put players around you to get a championship. So at this point in his career, he's been in the league for 16 years, I think. At this point, he knows exactly what he needs around him, and he knows the players that are gonna come in and fit in because he knows the players from playing against them, playing with them in the offseason, right? So he's networked and built relationships with players that are not in the team. So he knows what he needs. So the team that they got around him right now is the perfect team.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. It's just I haven't seen again well-rounded,
Yeah.
well-rounded up against anybody.
Yeah.
Uh hey, what else have you been keeping an eye on
In regard to what?
throughout the NBA?
Um,
James Harden situation?
yeah, that's interesting. The James Harden situation is interesting. Like I still obviously I want to know like what's gonna happen. He's not happy obviously in Houston, but Houston, they got two players that are getting their second chances with John Wall and Boogie. So I'm curious to see how they perform. Obviously, I don't expect them to be in the Western Conference Finals, just by themselves. With Harden, there's probably a good chance that they'll make a push in the playoffs. But I'm excited to see how the Nets work out. I think Durant looked pretty good. He had a good bounce, in his first game back. Kyrie looked like, he obviously he's a great offensive player, so he looked good. So I'm excited to see how that team turns out because if they actually have the chemistry, if Durant and Irving have the chemistry, that team is going to be, a really good team because they got a really good players around them as well. They made it to the
Yeah,
playoffs
yeah, that's
last
true.
year. They made it to the playoffs last year without Durant at all.
Without them.
And then Irving was like gone half of the season with the shoulder
Right.
injury. So, and they still made it to the playoffs. So with both of them on the team, they're going to be hard to beat. So,
Yeah, I agree. The Nets do look nice. I'm excited for them also. What about Lamelo? Did you see any of these Lamelo highlights?
Yeah,
Man, he's looking nice.
yeah, yeah. No, he reminds me of Lonzo. You know,
Yeah.
he's just confident. He's looking for the pass first. You know, so I like that. I like seeing him go out there and show that he belongs. Right, because so many people were writing him off for the last 4 or 5 years
Mm-hmm.
because he had uh, so many expectations. But
Mm-hmm.
he deserved it. He's a great player. He you know he's showing it. He's showing that he belongs in the NBA. So yeah, I'm excited to see how he ends up this season.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be fun to watch, man.
Yeah.
Just based on the few highlights that I've seen so far, I think I want to see more. I like just want to see more.
Yeah, it looks like he's having fun out there, right?
Yeah.
He's having fun. He's doing his best, and I think he landed in a good place. I think the Hornets they're gonna allow him to just kind of be free and get the experience, and they put a nice team around him as well.
Hmm.
I think signing Gordon is gonna be helpful also because he's a veteran, so he can
Right.
be that kind of mentor for him as well. And Rozier,
The thing about Gordon is he competes, so
yeah,
he's not trying to back down to nobody. He's not there like, okay, yeah, you can learn under me, but I'm not here to teach you. I'm here to win. So
yeah, and he
I
got
like,
paid.
yeah,
He got paid
yeah,
to do that. He got paid to be the star in a sense for that
yeah.
team. But yeah, they're stacked. They're stacked too with wings with guards. So that's
Hmm.
gonna be it's gonna be fun to watch them. Zion, I actually had a good game as well.
I didn't
Uh,
get to see Zion yet.
so he had like 26 points in his first
Really?
game. So
Ooh, that's
so
a problem.
that's a problem. And he looked a little lighter. He looked a little quicker, so that's good. That way he can stay healthy. His knees won't get so much stress from too much weight.
Yeah. That
uh,
that that team is, man. I'm like, whoa, that team.
Brandon Ingram looks smooth. His shot is just beautiful to watch, man. Like it reminds me of like Kobe's shot. Like it's just
Really?
so smooth to watch when he shoots when he does his little like run to the perimeter by the free throw line and then does that little fadeaway. It's
Yeah.
just nice. That's a nice shot.
He's good off that screen, and he's good off of
Mhm.
those that double crossover through the legs.
Yep.
So he's good at those.
Yeah. Yeah, man. The Clippers, Clippers, I don't know. They didn't look too exciting
Uh,
for me.
they got some they got some problems over there, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, it's just a preseason, right? They gotta get things together. Once the season starts, maybe
I
they'll click up. But right now, I don't know. The games with the Lakers, they didn't look fun to watch the Clippers.
Yeah, they look like they don't like each other.
Like there's drama going on in there.
Yeah, they look like they don't want to talk to each other, like, man. But you don't know, because that's kind of Kawhi's, aura.
Yeah.
He's always kind of like, and it's Paul George too. He's always kind of been like that too. So you don't
Yeah.
like, maybe that's just how they express their feelings,
Yeah, for
but they
sure.
just don't look happy.
Yeah. Phoenix looked pretty cool too. They they
Yo,
they got ballers in there too, man. I think Aiden is gonna have a really good season.
yo, Chris Paul, man. I feel like he's the best superstar to be a journeyman, because
Mhm.
you don't know, like, he played for so many teams that you don't know, like, and he's such a good player. It's almost sad to like see him bounce around too much,
Right. Yeah.
because he's done so well. He's just never been able to to get past. But I just don't think an organization ever really kept him around long enough, with the exception of the Clippers. I think that was his one shot where like they went all in on him, and Blake Griffin, who kind of fell off a cliff, man. He was
He's got her, yeah.
man, he fell off a cliff. He was, but they had something going those 2 years when they had that Lob City.
Hmm.
And but I think he's always gonna like have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder against David Stern for that
Oh,
veto, man.
bro.
If he would have been a Laker, he would
Oh yeah, he would have been a champ already for sure with the Lakers and Kobe. That would have been it for sure. But yeah, no, I agree with you in that, man. I think he's one of my favorite players to watch just because of how smooth he is as well. Um, and I think with Phoenix, I don't think they have a chance to make it to the finals. I think they'll be in the playoffs. I think they have a good team to be in the playoffs, especially with Chris Paul. I feel like he brings a lot of just experience and uh, just the knowledge to help the
It's
guys,
it's
push the
it's
guys.
it's gonna be tough though in the West. Oh man, you because everybody's good in the West.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. You got the Jazz are making some noise. You can't forget about Portland.
yeah,
Yeah, Denver's good. The Clippers are gonna be in the mix. The Lakers are gonna be in the mix.
yeah,
So the Suns they might be fighting for one of those last spots.
yeah. Maybe they'll
Might
take
be
the Rockets out.
the Rockets, huh? Imagine, I
Mhm.
think, yeah, you're right. The Rockets might not make it if they can't figure out their like internal issues.
Yeah, yeah. Um if they can't trade him away, I think that's gonna be an issue, right? Because he's not happy there. So that's gonna cause problems. And if they do trade him away, who will they get? Like
What would you do in that position if you're James Harden?
if I was James Harden and I asked for a trade and I didn't get the trade, I would still go out and I'll play hard. I'll be a basketball player. I'll do my job because I signed a contract and and I will do what I said I was gonna do. And after signing that contract, for me, it's done, right? So I'm in it. And if I ask for a trade and I don't get it, obviously that would bother me. But at the end of the day, I think I would be professional. I'll be like, okay, I tried, and now they know that I'm not happy here. So they better be looking for a way to get me out of here. But while I'm here, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna, just represent the Rockets, and and I have to be a professional because there's fans, right? The fans are supporting the team and they're watching, and I messed up already by asking for a trade because now they know that I don't want to be here. But while
Yeah,
I'm here, I'm still gonna try.
he's in a tough position, man. He's like
Yeah,
the ultimate villain.
he
Like
is.
you remember how much we were like dogging Dwight Howard when he was like he was like it was clear that he didn't want to stay.
Hmm.
Man, we were so just imagine that the city that's invested so much in him, they
Yeah,
believed in him so much. They must be furious, furious. But he if I were him, I would just embrace the villain role at this point,
right.
talk to his teammates and say, listen, I apologize, at this point, what I said during the off season, that was that. That's how I felt at that moment. We're here now. I'm a bust my tail. Follow me if you're with me, and you leave that choice up to your teammates because the teammates are probably side eyeing him too. Like you're out partying while we're at training camp, so he's definitely got some proving to do to his teammates.
Hmm.
And I think that'll happen by embracing just the all the negativity around him. He's got to channel it and turn it into good and turn it into like a kind of an angry season. He needs to have one of those seasons where he's going for 50 every single night.
Yeah,
So
that'd be dope. Yeah.
if he's able to channel, all this that's gone on over the last few weeks into that kind of season, I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay. And a motivated James Harden is scary, man. A motivated
Yeah.
James Harden is scary. So
Oh yeah, he's got to be the best or the second best offensive player ever
mhm.
because he can shoot threes like nothing. He can drive it in like nothing. And then when they double team him, he can pass it like nothing, which turns into points. So I feel like his offensive output, even if he's scoring or if he's passing, is just one of the best ever. So I think in whatever team he's in and he's playing hard and he's James Harden, they're always gonna have a chance to be in the playoffs for sure. But there's a difference between making it to the playoff and being a champion, and we've seen that, right, with Houston Rockets. They built teams around him and they've made it to the playoffs so many years, but they didn't have all the pieces together to get it done. And so I think that's what obviously that's what frustrates him as well, that he's been there for so long and it just hasn't worked out. So it's almost like he wants the way out because of that, right? Like it
Do,
just
do
hasn't worked out.
do you think that's on the organization though? Like, or do you think it's a part like, because I feel like they've done they've made moves every single off season, like big moves to try to like get him help, you know,
Yeah.
big
Well,
moves that you're just like, whoa, that's interesting, you know, whoa, they're gonna be, you know,
well,
they're gonna be something to be recognized.
so so another thing to think about is the coach, Mike D'Antoni, right? The way that he likes to play offense is that 7 seconds or less type of basketball. One
Mm-hmm.
player dominates the ball, pick and roll, and figure out what happens from there. So that's his offensive style, which I think fits James Harden. But I feel like now, like this year, they're gonna have a different opportunity to see if James Harden can be a different kind of player, if he can play in a different offensive strategy, right? Because obviously we saw that again, it worked to a certain degree, the run and gun type of playing with Mike D'Antoni
Mm-hmm.
and James Harden, but it just wasn't enough, and we know that from like Mike D'Antoni, right? Like his teams are not always like they're always good enough to make it to the playoffs, but they're never good enough to
Mm-hmm.
like win the championship. So
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like that system is just hard to go all in, and they did that last year, right? They got rid of their center Clint Capella, which was a dope center, to get
Mm-hmm.
Covington, right, to go smaller. So their their center was PJ
Yeah, that was
Tucker
weird.
at 6'7", PJ Tucker. So like that I don't know, that to me that didn't make sense and it didn't work. So I feel like it's
Yeah.
the organization, they they definitely tried to build a team around James Harden, but they also chose the coach, right? And so now that
Mm-hmm.
they got rid of D'Antoni and they brought in a new coach, I feel like this should have been an opportunity for James Harden to just like be more open-minded and just think, okay, I got a different coach, we're gonna run a different system, let's try this out. Maybe it's time for something new, right? Let's see what we can do with.
So do you think if the and you know it's just kind of like a thought question now, if the Rockets opted to keep D'Antoni, or to if D'Antoni was still the coach, do you think James Harden would be disgruntled? Do you think it was that coaching decision was big?
I think I think so. I think he was still would have asked for the trade because I think he wants out. I think he just
Wants a
he
fresh start?
he wants, yeah, almost like a fresh start. Like let me just go somewhere else because what we've been doing here is not working, and the moves that they made in the offseason weren't enough for James Harden to be happy with the situation. Obviously he feels like it's not enough. He feels like they're not gonna go to the finals. Otherwise he would have stayed, right? Otherwise he would have been like, okay, they made some good moves, you got a new coach, let me stay here and let's figure it out. But he didn't do that. So obviously the moves that the organization made weren't enough for him to feel confident going into this season.
Yeah, man. It's
It's
ugly in
tough.
Houston.
It's tough.
Yeah,
It's
it's
tough.
ugly in Houston.
But we've been there, right? Like the Lakers were shit for so many
Ah,
years.
man, we've been there. Yeah, we were bad for a couple years, and people were talking about why you got to pay Kobe this much.
Yep.
And those of us who are Kobe fans were like, man, screw you. We'll never pay Kobe.
Yeah. Yeah.
A golden handshake. But but it was all well worth it, man. Those years, I'm telling you, that was all well worth it to see where like how good we are right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
LeBron, he came through, and he came and saved the Lakers organization for a few years.
yeah, in a way he did, but we also did. We also went through the grind. We climbed out of the mud also. Because we had those D'Angelo Russell years with obviously we still had Kobe at that time. We went through the Ramon Session years. We went through some where we tried things that were kind of like trying to be as creative as possible, but
Yeah.
it was tough, man. It was tough.
Yeah, paying
The
money.
Nick, the swaggy P years.
The three where it didn't go in. Yeah, so
Yeah.
every organization goes through that, right? And um some more than others. The Clippers, for example.
Yeah.
But every team obviously is trying, but some teams just get the lucky, or not luck, the opportunity, right? And
Yeah.
I think, being a Laker fan, we have a little bit of a good chance, better chance than a lot of other teams in getting those good players, like LeBron James, right? He came out to the Lakers because it's LA,
It's
and
the Lakers.
there's opportunities here that there aren't in other markets, and the Lakers have history. So obviously, the Lakers are always gonna have more opportunities than other teams to have good teams and good players, and we're seeing that right
Hey,
now.
the yeah, the crazy thing is too, for all those years, how many free agents turned us down? We went after like guys like LaMarcus Aldridge who turned us down. You remember those big we went after, Paul George turned us down most
Yeah,
recently, but I feel like every year we went after top guys of that time, and they just did it. The jersey was too heavy, so it took a king to be able to carry it.
yeah.
It's royalty over here, man. It's royalty.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, yeah, it's fun when your team is winning. So I'm glad we can have these conversations and get all picky about the bench, and players that are not gonna get many minutes, because we know that the superstars, they're locked in, right? They're ready to go,
do,
ready for
do,
another
do
championship.
we do we want to trade our third string point guard
Right?
for a sharpshooter?
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh, but yeah, man, no, it's been fun. It's been fun. I'm excited. So next Laker game is tomorrow night against the Suns again, 7:30 p.m. And that should be exciting. And then the first game of the regular season is going to be on the 22nd, so against the Clippers. So
against the
see,
Clippers, let's do it.
season's
Let me see.
coming
What
in
are we looking
fast.
at? Tuesday, huh? That's on Tuesday.
So
Yeah. So,
we're getting the ball rolling, man.
man, it's good. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And then Christmas Day, we're playing. Who we playing on Christmas Day
Dallas,
again? Yeah,
I
Dallas. Oh man, I want to watch that game because
Luca,
Luka's one of my favorites right now. I think he's probably my favorite player that's not a Laker
dude,
in the NBA.
and he's so young. He's 21, I think, or 22.
Yeah.
It's crazy how mature he is, how advanced he is for his age, and he's already a superstar, right? He was almost the MVP last year, and he's so
Yeah.
young.
Hey,
So
the other thing is like it's crazy how good all these young players are, at
yeah.
this stage in their it's crazy. It feels like, man, just like the new generation of players is insane.
Well,
So I think we're
because right, so
sorry.
it's because they start playing at such a young age. Think
Yeah.
about the rookie this year, LaMelo. Um,
Hmm.
he played in a European league. He played in an Australian league as a professional. Like, he was getting paid money to play in these leagues. He even played for JBL league, right? That his dad started. So I think that exposure to playing with grown men as a 16, 17, 18-year old, that advances your game so much faster.
Mm-hmm.
And Luca did the same thing. Luca was a professional like at 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of these young guys are so developed already,
Mm-hmm.
because they start playing at such a young age, and at a really like high skill level.
That's crazy, man. That you could be that good. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Um, cool. So that is it for me.
Yeah, man.
You got anything else?
Nah, man. I just wanna, wish everybody, man. That last one kind of went off. We had a bunch of views.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
dope,
so
man.
everybody that's watching, thank you guys so much. You got Ed and Sal here trying to just talking Lakers, two Laker fans trying to make it happen. Enjoying these times. So make sure you guys are staying safe. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, definitely, man. Yeah, thanks again, everybody. This to me again, this is something that I enjoy doing, just talking Lakers. So it's fun to have you, Sal, coming in here, more often now. So it's not just me by myself because I'm doing I'm doing the podcast also through the Anchor app where I'm just doing like recaps of the previous game. So I did one earlier today where I'm just giving like the stats, highlight of the game, and then just like a story that I find online. So it's like a quick 3 minute podcast. And
Hmm.
so doing this weekly with you, it's nice just to be a little bit more in depth into
Hmm.
how the games are looking and the Lakers are looking. So so yeah, man. But everybody that's watching, definitely thank you for the support. Appreciate that. And when if anybody's got any questions, any feedback, definitely put that in the comments, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, hell yeah. Ask us questions.
Yeah,
All right, brother. Take care. I'll see you next time.
for sure, Sal. Take care, brother.